Hello, this is Christine Pierce, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Maple Grove, Minnesota. And I want to share with you a project that I made using the In Bloom bundle. This is brand new in the January to June 2021 Stampin' Up! Catalog. I love this bundle. I have had so much fun making different projects with it, and I wanted to share those with you today. One of the things that I love the most about these dies is the stitching. They not only cut out, but they add all kinds of detail with the stitching that is found on each of the dies. Let's see if I can get that light so you can see it. I think you can see it pretty well here. And so one of the things that I made was a gift pack using my One Sheet Wonder class. A One Sheet Wonder is when you take one sheet of paper and you're going to cut it up into various pieces to make several different projects. So in this case, I used my stamp set to stamp all over an 8.5 by 11 sheet of Whisper White cardstock. Then I created a template to cut that apart, and I'll share this template online. You cut all of this apart and you'll make different projects with it. So I have one template where you'll make different pieces of my gift pack. And I have another template where you'll make 7 different cards using your One Sheet Wonder. So in my gift pack, I have a darling little gift bag topper. And then I used Velcro so they can open and close it as they wish. And inside, they're going to find a Post-it notepad, again with a little Velcro closure. Isn't that cute? You are amazing. A bookmark. I used all kinds of fun ribbon on there. I'll get a little treat. So I have a Hershey nugget that I've decorated. There's a card. And this is a happy birthday card with a coordinating envelope. Never a naked envelope, right? So stamped a little flower on there. And of course on the inside of the card as well. And then last but not least is the notebook. And so this is just a little 3x5 little notebook that you can stick in your purse. Isn't that cute? And I decorated the front and the back. So lots of little goodies inside of this cello bag and a nice little gift pack. So today I wanted to show you the card pack with the 7 cards and how I'll make that using the One Sheet Wonder technique. So a few tips about this. You want to start with your largest image, which is going to be my yellow daisy. And I'm going to start in the middle of my page. And I'm using Daffodil Delight ink. And I want to twist my stamps so that they're not all the same orientation. You also want to continue to stamp right off the edges of your page. And with the One Sheet Wonder, it is a good idea to try to fill as much white space as you can without getting it to look too gaudy. But when you cut this apart, we're going to have 7 different projects that we're making. So we're going to be putting quite a few cuts in here. And I want some of these daisies on each of my projects. So I want them fairly close together. So next, I'm going to go to the next largest stamp that I have. And that is this pink 4-petal flower. And with the photopolymer stamps that you can see through, you're going to want to ink them really well. Have some sort of padding underneath your paper. So either the piercing mat that we carry or this nice pad of grid paper, and that's going to give some padding. If you notice the foam, the clear mount stamps that are made out of red rubber, they have foam in the stamp. So because these can be seen through, they do not have the foam in them. And so you want to have that extra padding underneath your stamp to allow for that image to be much sharper, especially when you're using big, bold stamps like what I'm using today. So I'm going to fill this up with that pink flower. I'm allowing that ink a little bit of time to soak in when you have these dark, bold colors with the solid stamps. Let's see. Not sure if I want more pink on there. I might have to come back later and add if I want some more. So then I think I want to fill in with some leaves. And even though I'm using just Jade paper, I decided I wanted to keep it a little bit lighter when it came to the leaves. So I am using soft seafoam to fill in some of my greenery on my paper. And I want my leaves to be going in different directions on my paper, though I kind of like the large gaps between my flower petals to be where my leaves come from. And you can always turn your paper too to make it a little easier to get at those. I am extremely right-handed. I cannot do anything left-handed, no matter how hard I try. So I'm going to just spin this until I get it to where I want it. So I can comfortably put those leaves down. So I think I want each of my yellow flowers to have a leaf. The ones that are going off the page can be up to the discretion of that, whether or not that leaf is going off the side you can't see. There you go. All right, so next I'm going to fill in with some of my Bermuda Bay with this cute little flower. And having well-inked stamp pads when you're working on a project like this is a really good idea. It's just going to make your project go so much easier. And turn out just so much bolder. If you don't have ink refills for your stamp pads, Celebration is going on right now. It's our biggest sale of the year where you get free items for every $50 that you spend. And that would be a great time to stock up on those ink refills or cardstock that you might be needing. All right, let's see. I think I'm liking that pretty well. I'm trying to decide if I need one more in here. I think I do. It's a lot of white. So then I'm cleaning my stamps today with my Simply Chamois, which is a really nice way to get the ink off of your fingers as well as your paper. With my pinks and bold colors, I like to just stamp a little of that excess off first so I don't get it too thick on my chamois while I'm still working. Sorry if you can hear the neighbor's dog barking. I think I'm going to probably need more leaves, so I'm going to leave that one to clean later. This also works great for getting the ink off your fingers if you have any, if you pick up any ink while you're working. And so I typically leave one side of my chamois clean and the other side is used for cleaning my stamps, but this one has gotten so much use, I finally flipped it over and started using the back side to clean my stamps. But that leaving that back side clean gives you a for sure clean area for your fingers, as well as when you go to get it wet and you can wring it out and have that clean side for your hands. So let's go to some of these smaller images and just gonna see here. I think I used pink on this little guy. Fill in some of that white area. I like to use these G blocks for these teeny tiny stamps. I tend to not rock the stamp and get that edge quite as often as I do when I use a square block for these tiny little images. Not sure if you guys do that where you get not only your stamped image, but the ink from the edge of the block, but I definitely have had my fair share of those. Quick and easy, as you'll see, to fill this whole sheet of paper. Okay, so next what we're going to do is take the sheet that we've stamped and use our paper trimmer to cut to the template that I've created. And I will share this. Whoops, we're going to use the card one. I will share this on the post, so you can watch for that. Give it a try. I did this with my stamping team and my Pierce Pals group, and I just encouraged them, since we were stamping social distancing, to find a stamp set and dies that they had at home with flowers or snowflakes, whatever they might have available that had coordinating dies. And it was really fun to see all the different things that people had come up with to use to create their own one sheet wonder. So with this, what I'm going to do is cut with the paper the long way. I'm going to do my first cut at 3 inches. And I did put a new cutting blade in here to make sure that my cuts are nice and sharp. So then I'm going to take that 3-inch strip, and cut number 2 is going to be at 5.5 inches. So I have my 2 pieces here for 2 of my cards. Then next I am going to take the remaining section here, and I'm going to also cut this at 5.5 inches. And then this piece here, I'm going to turn. I'm sorry, this piece over here, I'm going to turn. And so this is my 5.5 inch wide piece. My next cut is going to be turned this way, and it's going to be at 3 inches. So I should have a 3-inch piece that is 5.5 inches long, and I'm going to cut that at 2 3/4, which will be right in half. So I have these 2 pieces now. And then this piece is going to be cut at, it should be 2.5. And I'm going to be cutting that at 2 1/4. So I have 2 more pieces. And then this piece that I have remaining should be, let's see, this is 5.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to cut that at 3 1/4. So I have all of my pieces remaining. Or all of my pieces cut, sorry. So there's my template, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I had just a little piece left if you wanted to make a tag for a gift package. So the first card that we're going to make is going to be using some Just Jade, a Just Jade base. And this is the Hamburger Fold. So this is going to be 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and folded in half the wide way. So this is what we call the Hamburger Fold. And I'm going to need my ruler, because these little layers are, this is 2 7/8 by 3 1/4 of Magenta Madness. And I'm going to find the pieces, let's see, from my cut pieces here. I'm going to find the right one to go on this card. So I think there's 2 that are the same size. So I'm just going to see which one I like layered on this mat better. Not sure that it's really going to matter, but I think I will go with this one. I'm going to get my Stamp and Seal and adhere that together. And I need my black ink pad. Let me grab that quick. So I'm using Memento Black. I like the way that it cleans off of my stamps a little bit better. So I'm going to use the You Are Amazing greeting. Ink that really, really well. And you can decide, based on where your flowers are on this piece, you can decide where you want to stamp your greeting. So stamp that You Are Amazing. And then I am going to use my liquid glue and just add a couple of, I haven't used it yet today, so let me just get that ball of adhesive off the tip there. And put a little dab of adhesive in the middle of my flowers. And I'll just give that a little black center. And this one a little black center. Whoop. And let's see, I have a little leaf that I'm going to be adding as well. And to give it a little bit more interest, I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon. I love, love, love these new ribbons that we got this year for some of the in colors. This is called Just Jade, and the ribbon is just called the 2020-2022 in color ribbon, but it's so nice to work with. I don't know if you noticed, but I turned my little card piece upside down. When I am tying a knot or a bow, I like to have my paper upside down. Somehow my knots and my bows end up laying much nicer when I have it upside down. So that is my little trick. You have to play with how you hold your ribbon and see if that helps. And then I can just slide that down a little bit. And let's see, I had this popped up on dimensionals. So I'll grab some of those. Our nice foam dots. They're adhesive on both sides. You just have to peel the backing off of one side. And I love this new trick with my take your pick tool. I can find where I laid that down. Here we go. So you take your pick tool, you can pick off these backings really quick and easy with that piercing tool on there. So I'm going to bring in my card base, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid glue to the back of my leaves. And have them come out from under this leaf. And then I will put the inside layer in my card. And I will go back and stamp on these. Add a little flower and a greeting. But there's card number 1. Really quick and easy, isn't it cute? All right, so that's 1. The next one we're going to do, I'm going to just move my ribbon out of my way, is on Whisper White. And with this one, I'm doing the hot dog fold. So this is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And I'll get my bone folder. All right. With this one, I have a piece of Magenta Madness that is 2 1/2 by, must be 3 5/8. And let's see, with this one, let's see if this is the right piece. So with this, I'm going to mat one of the other pieces on here. You just kind of pick and choose what you'd like to put on which of the cards. Kind of fun to just get to design whatever you're looking for. And then I'm going to put a greeting. I'm going to make this one a happy birthday. So I'll bring in my memento and the birthday greeting from the stamp set that says, "Happy birthday, you really are the best." And that's going to go down here at the bottom. Get to my chamois. All right. And next we will put this layer on the card with some Stampin' Seal. I want it this way. Cute, right? But just wait, it's going to get better. So next I'm going to use my liquid glue, and I'm going to just add some little embellishments here. So add some of these little flower centers, and I'm going to use a dimensional to pop up that flower. And let's see where I want this guy. I want him, let's see, I think I want him right here. And then I have a leaf, a little branch of leaves. I'll just tuck in underneath him there. And we'll put this flower I don't want all of them popped up, but this one's going to come down here by the greeting. And I'm going to put a black center. And on this blue, I'm going to put one of the larger yellow centers and then top that with a black. Isn't this darling? And then it's only missing some of our black matte pearls, which I am thoroughly in love with and thoroughly addicted to. So switch out the top on my Take Your Pick tool. Put the putty end back on here because I love how that works for my embellishments. Flatten that down a little bit. And I'm going to add some of these black matte pearls to my card. Because I feel like that just makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? Card number 2 is done. So now we'll move on to a Magenta Madness card. And this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Put a layer of white on the inside. I like to do that anytime you have a darker color card base. It just makes writing on the inside so much easier. So my layers for the inside are 5 1/4 by 4. So it's just a 1/4 inch smaller. And then with this one, I'm going to take one of those 2 larger pieces of my One Sheet Wonder. And with this, I'm going to use my paper snips. I cut out this tag, which is one of the dies from this die set. And I'm going to cut actually 2 tags in half, and I'll just use 1 1/2 of these. And I wanted to make a really nice edge, an interesting edge coming out from underneath here. So what I'll do is put one basically in the middle. Just going to lightly tack that on there. And then I'm going to put this one down at the corner and try to get my stitching to line up towards the middle here. You see this stitched line? And then I'm going to do the same over here. I liked the little edge on the corners, so I'm just going to make that work like that. And then I'll put some adhesive on the back. Oh, I forgot, I'm going to add ribbon. So let me grab. And this is another thing I love about the silicone mat. Now that I've got adhesive on the back of that, it's totally fine to lay it on your silicone mat and it won't stick to your work surface. These must be some older scissors. Let me find some newer ones here. So what I'm going to do is use a little cheater bow, and I will put my adhesive along the edge here and along the edge here. I'm going to lay this piece of ribbon across the front, kind of center that, and then wrap it around to the back and stick it to my adhesive. This way, look how much ribbon I ended up saving across the back. Plus, when it comes to tying my bow, I can leave my ribbon on the spool and tie a little knot and only have to trim up one end. So I'm not really losing much ribbon at all. I guess I will trim up this side here, but very little waste. It's a great way to save on ribbon and do what I like to call a cheater bow. Then, whoop, wrong one. I'll grab my Stamp and Seal, which is extremely strong adhesive. Love it. And we have the Seal Plus that's even more of a strong adhesive. And I'll line this up, leaving a little bit of a pink edge at the top, sticking these all down. I did want to put a little greeting at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I want to mask off the lower part of this greeting. So what I'm going to grab some Scotch tape and I'm going to cover that you really are the best. I just want the happy birthday. Then I'm going to ink my happy birthday. And then be sure to remember to remove your tape. And don't touch the ink because it's going to be very wet. And I'll stamp that down at the bottom of my card. And that way I just get a portion of my stamped image that I wanted. Nice little masking tip. So I want to doll this up with some of our die cuts. So I'm going to pop this flower up and this flower up with a dimensional. I just love that trick of using that to remove the backing. I think sometimes I just decide to cover one of the flowers that are stamped on the card already, just so I don't end up with too much yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and cover that one. And then I think I might, let's see, I might put this one down over this stamped pink flower as well. Then I'll add some leaves. So every time you do a one sheet wonder, they're going to come out a little bit differently because of your stamping and how you place your flower images. So you just have to kind of wing it when you are putting the next one together. I have this leaf peek out from under there. I think I want to actually use a mini dimensional for the back of the center of this flower. Pop that up a little bit more. Put a yellow center in the middle of my pink flower. And then you know what it's missing at this point is just these darn black matte pearls that make the whole thing come together, doesn't it? I absolutely love it. Can't get enough of this. It's just too fun. So there's another card completed in a pretty short period of time. Next, we'll move on to a white card base. I am using the thick white, and our basic white is available now. I don't know if you heard, but our Whisper White, the manufacturer that made our Whisper White all these years, went out of business because of COVID, which is just a shame. But Stampin' Up! Was able to find another manufacturer who made a high quality white, and it's called Basic White. So the next card is going to be one of those two small squares that we had, and I'm going to double mat this. Let's see, is this the right one? Maybe I grabbed the wrong one here. Oh, you know, I bet I actually trimmed this down when I decided I wanted to double mat it. So let me see. We have, bring in my little baby trimmer here. So this is just under 3 by 3. I'm just going to trim a little bit off of this. You'll see how exact I am. Really, really not. So I will try this. And then we'll see how that goes on the big mat. I'm gonna say just a little off this edge and we'll call it good. All right. So helpful to have all these tools within arm's reach. Okay, so we're going to double mat my piece here on black. And then on Magenta Madness. Again, it's one of this year's in colors, just like the Just Jade. Beautiful colors. Then I'll put this on my card. Let's see. I want this one this way. I'm going to stamp the "You Mean So Much to Me" greeting on my card. Clean that off. And then we're going to use a dimensional on the back of my flower. And we'll add a little leaf. This time I decided I wanted my leaf to be just kind of floating nearby. And I'm going to add a little yellow center, and we'll add a little black center to this flower. And of course, we have to top this off with at least one of our black matte flowers. I think I want to put a dimensional under these petals. I feel like they're not laying quite right. So let me see if I can find my mini dimensionals again. Just had them. Whole bunch of standard ones here. There we go. All right, let's just put one under here. And I think that'll make that lay a little bit better. That's good. I like that. So we have another card finished. And next we'll use a Daffodil Delight card base. Again, this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I will put a white layer on the inside. Even though yellow is a light color you could easily write on, I just like how it looks to have that extra layer inside. I don't know, just looks more finished to me. This card is actually going to be one where you could use it either direction. So I'm going to have it so that they can turn it portrait or landscape. But what I wanted to do with this was to give it a little bit different edge. So I'm taking a layer of Bermuda Bay that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to just tear this edge. Now I know this makes some people want to poke their eye out. They just really don't like unfinished edges or the rough appearance of that, but I actually really like it. So you don't have to do it on your card if you don't care for it, but hopefully I can convince you to just give it a try. So I'm going to find which piece, and then I think I need to just cut this down a touch. I'm going to go to just take a little piece off that so that it will fit. Yep, a little more. I am not a perfectionist by any stretch of the imagination, so hopefully I'm not making you go crazy by my lack of measuring. So I'm going to go ahead and mat this on here. And then I wanted to bring in some of this really pretty, let's see, ruched ribbon, and this is the Daffodil Delight. I'm going to wrap this around. Could do that cheater bow again, but I have 3 spools of this, so I'm not quite as worried about running out. And I really need to turn this so it's away from me, sorry. I'm going to just find that to be much more comfortable. So there we go. Now I will trim up my ends. And I'm going to put this, I think I want this on dimensionals. I did not do that the last card that I made like this, but I think I'll be happier with it. Grab my take your pick. Get those backs off the dimensionals that way. Okay, so I think I still missed this guy here in the corner. And I'm going to layer this on here. So you'll see my card could open either portrait or landscape. And I'm going to add some flowers to dress this guy up even more. Let's see. I will do a pink and a yellow flower. And I'm going to just lose that yellow one there. And we'll add that yellow there. We'll put a leaf. Nice big leaf. And then a little sprig. Again, wherever you like those, there's no right or wrong. And oops. And you can mix and match your colors. And we'll add, of course, some of those black matte pearls. The glue hasn't dried yet. There we go. And what do you think? Could go this way, could go this way. Super cute, huh? Okay, we're getting there. We've got just a couple cards left to make with our One Sheet Wonder. This one is going to be a Bermuda Bay card base. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. It will have a white, of course, card insert. Kind of excited to dress those card inserts up. I should have stamped them before I put them in my cards, but I didn't want to make you have to wait for that step. So next we're going to go ahead and take our long skinny strip that we have remaining. And that's going to go from top to bottom on my card. And I'm going to stamp the "You Mean So Much to Me" on one of the tags. I'm going to stamp it off to the right. Again, these greetings are something you could stamp all ahead of time so that they're ready to go if you wanted. And I'm going to have a yellow flower. So with this, I want to put my little blue flower down beneath the tag. Then I will take the back off of my dimensionals here. I'm going to just tuck that. Let's see, I think I want that actually over that one. And then I'm going to layer this yellow flower over the top. We'll put a pink one here, the black center, a pink center. Oops. And then we'll add some more leaves. And of course, the finishing touch. What do you think? Aren't these just so fun? I just truly, truly enjoy making these. All right, last but not least is our Just Jade with the hot dog fold. This is 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2, with our insert being 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to take my remaining large piece of One Sheet Wonder design, and I'm going to lay that down the center of my card. Oh, kind of missed that top edge here. There we go. I think I've got that up there now. And I'm going to grab some of the Just Jade ribbon, and it's going to run through the inside of my card. A little added touch when they open up my card. Be a nice little surprise there. My fingers are getting sticky from my liquid glue. So I should just really go take a minute to clean them off, and it would make tasks like this a lot easier. So there we go. I'm much happier with that. Trim up my ends. Make sure you don't cut both pieces of the ribbon when you're doing that. Wouldn't be the first time I've done that either. So this is a little trick. So I want to mat my greeting on, have it on white with a layer of Just Jade, but these tags are the same size. So first of all, I'm going to stamp "You Are Amazing" in black on my tag. Stamp that on my white. Clean my stamp, put my ink away. And now to layer this, what I'm going to do is take my scissors, my paper snips, and just cut this Just Jade layer in half. I will then come in with my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to simply lay this, and it's so easy to do with those dots from the stitching to make this straight. And there I have it, my layered tag. Isn't that super fun and quick? All right, so next I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my tag and on the back of my flower. And what I'm going to do then, that one's being stubborn. I'll add this. I'm going to scooch my little knot over. I'm going to add my tag here, add my flower. I'm trying to decide, I might actually want it over on this corner on this card. I had it on the other corner of my original, but again, based on where your stamping ends up, you might just need to shimmy some things. So put a nice big leaf coming out of my little flower, and we'll put a little pearl in the middle of that one. glue dry. And what do you think? Like that enough? So I hope you enjoyed making or watching these. I hope you'll try it and give this In Bloom bundle a try. Here's my original of this card. Here are my today's version and my original of that card. These are the ones that can go either direction. So they all turn out just slightly different based on what you've got when you're done stamping. So you can see the slight variations to each of the cards. And here's the final two. That one I did do a bow originally. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will check that out, and I will put the item numbers in the post. Thank you so much. Have a great day.